Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camel. You don't really know you.
Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lauren Haven, Nail Haven, wherever you're watching this video from. So today's video is going to be a video on how I do my 20-piece nail sets. So I am under the weather. I know y'all could probably hear the congestion in my voice. I am a little sick, but today's video is something that I've been meaning to record. A lot of y'all actually know me from TikTok Live, and y'all come in and y'all always ask, hey, how do you do your 20-piece nail sets? How do you go about sizing, figuring out what designs to put on what size, and so on and so forth. So that is exactly what today's video is going to be about. Here's what a 20-piece nail set looks like. And you're probably like, Lauren, that's only 10 nails. I don't put all 20 nails on the card. I put them in a bag in the back, but you do get all of the nails. I just put 10 for display. I am going to be doing a design with y'all today, but before we get into that, I will be showing y'all how I do my bulk 20-piece nail sets. So I have, like, this is written out, and this is just for example. So I have 12 sizes, hopefully y'all can see that clearly. 12 different sizes, 15 and 10. I wrote it down. When I'm doing 20-piece nail sets, it's usually more than 20 nails, but I would usually only do the design on 20 of the nails. 15 to 20 of the nails are going to get a design depending on how many nails you're going to receive. So for example, my short duck has 12 different sizes, so it's from size 0 to 11. It's going to get 20 designs, 20 nails with designs on it, and then the rest are just going to be regular French tips, matching whatever design that we do. Same for my medium and short square. I have 15 different sizes. 20 of the nails are going to get the main design, and then the other 10 are going to get regular French tips. But for my designs, ooh, I just turned my lamp on. Oh Lord, hold on. So for the sizes that only have 10, I only do 15 instead of 20. This is just so that you get what you kind of pay for, if that makes sense. But 15 of the nails are going to get the main design, and then the other 5 are just going to be regular French tips. Now, when I'm doing my bulk sets, so for example, I'll get one design and do it across a couple different shapes and lengths. In today's video, I'm going to be doing short duck, medium square, short square, long stiletto, and medium almond in this design. And I do have a lot of stands that I do use because we are using a lot of nails. I did calculate it to 128 nails, if I did my calculations right. But let's put this to the side. I'll put it back in the screen so that y'all can get a screenshot of it. Now, how did I break down these sizes? I'm gonna be real with you. I kind of used my own hand really quick. Most of the times, I feel like I have pretty average sized hands. So your thumb is usually the largest, then it goes to your middle finger, index, ring, and pinky. Or at least it's how I've seen a lot of people's hands are, and mine are the same. So what I typically do, depending on how big or how small the tips run, will depend on how I do my sizes. So that's why it's hard for me to explain to people, like, you know, I do it this way, I do it that way. Because, for example, my long square has a 2, a 1, and a 3 for the thumb. But when I do my medium / long stiletto, there's a size 0, and a size 1 for the thumb. That's because these tips run a little bit small, so I have to accommodate, and I like to put the designs on main sizes. So like, not main, but like average sizes. And like I said, I do use my hand because my hand is pretty average, but it's kind of, I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. So yeah. That's why when people ask, it's like hard for me to explain because it just really depends on what shape, what length, what brand of nail tips I'm using, so on and so forth. But let's go ahead and pull out our nail tips and our stands. So I buy these stands. I actually bought one for this video, and plus I needed another set. I get my stands off Amazon. I'll make sure to link them down in the description box. I always buy a 6-pack and they usually run from $7 to $8. I think it was $7 to $9. I don't really remember the price, but it's pretty inexpensive. So I'm gonna just pour those out like that. And if you do purchase these stands, I will say that they are not meant for pinky nails. Some nails for the pinkies don't fit. So I will go in with my e-file and I shave off the sides to make it skinnier so that pinky nails can fit on the stands. Hopefully y'all can see that good. Move the light a little bit better. So as you can see, the one on the right is a little bit skinnier. That's because I just went in with my e-file. I shaved down the sides to make it smaller. And yeah, it's the same stands. This one is a bit older, but so I went ahead and put the stands onto the stands. So for this video, I'm not going to shave the sides down for the pinky nails because I already have stands that are small enough for pinkies. Shein does have stands that are skinny. You can simply just go and look for stands that are small. All you gotta do is go on Amazon and search press-on nail stands, and you should be able to like look and see which ones are wide and which ones are skinny. I'll try to find one, link them down below for y'all. I'm going to replace these last nails with the smaller stands because I need the pinkies for this finger. For these two sets that I'm about to do now require 4 stands because it's going to both be 20 pieces, 20 nails with designs on them. So I'm gonna move those out the way and I'm gonna grab my nail tips. The first ones are going to be medium square. This is the brand of medium square tips that I use. I really do like this brand because it has a very, very wide variety of sizes. You get 15 different sizes. And the thumbnail is also very, very wide, which is what I enjoy. Not enjoy, but what I love about these. You can't really see like on my hand, but this thumbnail is really, really wide. And a lot of people that wear press-ons that have wide fingers are always scared that the thumb won't fit. But with these ones, the thumb, I feel like it's wide. It's probably my widest. I haven't had a custom order yet that required the size 0 for the thumb. So yeah, I really love this brand. I'll make sure to try to link them down below. But I'm just going to grab all of the nails. I'm going to grab 2 of each size. So as you can see, this is both a size 0. And I'm going to put them in a line. And once I'm done with that, I'll come back and we'll put these on the stands. All right, I had to take my gloves off because these medium almond tips were sticking to my, not sticking, but like, you know, is it static? Y'all know. They were attaching themselves to my gloves. So anyway, I like to use double-sided mounting tape when I use my press-ons to attach them to the stands. I'm going to go over the sizes for these ones and what designs, what fingers are going to get what designs, what fingers are going to be attached to what, you know, what sizes are going to be attached to what nails, whatever you want to call it. For medium square, I will be doing this sizing. It'll go from thumb, index, middle, ring to pinky. And so take a quick little look at that. That will be what I put on the stands. I like to use double-sided mounting tape for my press-on nail stands. You can get this off Amazon. I specifically get whatever size this is. I always buy this one because when I put them on the stands, it's the perfect width, and I'll show you. I'll just go in, take my double-sided tape, lay it on the stand just like that. And then I'll cut off anything I don't need. Now, I know some people actually use like adhesive tabs for them. Like they have adhesive tabs for this, but I found that this works good for me. And plus I use this to attach my nails to the stands as well. But as you can see, there's no hangover on the sides. It's the perfect width. So that's what I use. And then I just go in and remove the protective film off of the stand. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the tape for these ones on here, and then I'll come back. I'll probably do like a little time lapse, I guess. It's kind of self-explanatory, but I'll let y'all watch that part if that's something that y'all want to watch. Y'all can skip through it too. Alright, y'all, so I'm back. I'm done putting all of the tape onto the stands. Now what I'm going to do is organize the sizes that's going to go onto the stands. And the way that I do that is, as like I said, I have, not like I said, as y'all can see, I do have the nails lined up like this. What I'll do is I'll just take whatever sizes that I'm going to be applying to the stands. These mediums are in the way. I'm scoot those up. And I do it like this. So I lay it out, figure out, okay, well, for the size, the thumbs are going to be a 1, 2, 2, 3. The index is going to be a 5, 6, 6, 7. So yeah, 5, 6, 6, and then 7. For the middle fingers, it's going to be a 3, 4, 4, and a 5. Scoot those up. Then for the ring finger, it's going to be a size 7, 8, and 9. 8 and 9. Then for the pinkies, you're going to get a size 10, 11, 12, and 13. And then I'm just going to grab my stands and place them onto the stands. All right, now that I have all of the nails placed onto the stands, I'm going to take a bag and put the remaining nails in the bag. And I usually work on the main design first. And then once I finish the main design, I'll take those off, put them on the cards, and post them on my site. And then I'll finish the rest of the nails. I prefer doing it that way instead of like working on, you know, the main design and the backup, not backup nails, but the other nails as well. Here's a view of what my desk typically looks like when I do a bulk design like this. So I have my medium square, my medium almond, my short duck, my long stiletto. Sorry if y'all can't see my bed. And then my short square here. Okay, so we got 5 different shapes and lengths that we will be working on today. And this is typically how it looks like. This is typically how it looks, my setup. I just sit them off to the side. Usually I move this out the way so I can have more desk space. But I have a shelf right here now, so I'll just place them when I'm not working on them. I'll just place them on to the shelf. So yeah. All right, y'all, so here's the design that I'm going to be doing. Probably looks crazy on the card, but I promise you, trust the process. So the first thing that I'm going to do before I get into anything is I'm going to start buffing the surface of the nails. I know some people like to chemically etch. I personally like to take my 60 grit file. It's an old one. And I simply just go in and etch the tops of the nails with this file. Like this. Then once I do that, I'm going to go in with my buffer. I'm going to slightly smooth it since it is a 60 grit file. Sometimes it'll be a little too rough. So I just go in and slightly smooth out the surface. And then I'm going to do that for all of the nails. And once I'm done, I'll come back. I'll do a time lapse of me doing that for y'all to watch. But yeah. Okay guys, so the rest of this video will be in a voiceover. Yeah, I don't know what else I was gonna say, but I'm about to go in and start off with putting down my layer of base coat. Now I do have a separate video and I'll try to link it in the cards, of what I do for my base application, how I build up the strength of my nails and all of that good jazz. So I don't really too much go into depth no more in my videos because it's so repetitive. I just made it its own separate video. So anyway, if you want to watch that, I'll try to link it in the cards. If not, you can find it linked on my page. So for today's color, I'm going in with B071 by Beetles first. And then my second layer of color is going to be 427 by Ragism. I don't know the color names for Ragism, but B071 by Beetles is Mocha Mousse Cake when you look it up on Amazon. So I'm just going in and putting down that for my base color. And you will see me change shapes and lengths throughout the video simply because we are working on multiple different sets. So whatever I decided to record on whatever design was that, but towards the end of the video I ended up just finishing the entire design on short square. So I'll let you guys watch me apply the base colors and then we'll come back when we move to the next step. Actually, I forgot that Beetles ended up sending me this gel nail polish set. I actually got it through TikTok Shop. I did a video for them on TikTok already, but I was like, let me just go ahead and do a video on YouTube as well. So yeah, I will say for these polishes, I did have troubles when I first started using them, but then I figured out how to use them, because at first the color that I'm using now was not a one coat French tip. I had to go in and do 2 layers, but as I started using it more, I realized that I just had to go in with a thicker layer and just cure it that way. It's still fully cured under the lamp, even though I did do a thicker layer. So yeah, that was pretty much the only complaint that I had. They are thick polishes, so if you're someone that likes the running polishes, you probably won't like these. But yeah, so before I go in and do any nail art designs, I like to buff the surface of my nails, which is what you see me doing here now. And I did do the French tips. I left them in not real time. I did speed it up just a tad, so instead of it being in the regular mode, it's in 1.6. But I did leave those full clips because a lot of people do ask me, hey Lauren, how do you do your French tips? Can you do a French tip tutorial? So this is kind of not really a tutorial because I don't really have a method to my madness. I go in and I draw the French, but I did leave it in here so that you guys can like watch me do it. And hopefully, as you can see, like I just went in and just put the damn brush down to the nail, y'all. I don't really have a tutorial or a way that I do it that I could explain that could be helpful for people learning how to do French tips. But I did leave it in here. I'll let y'all watch that. I think I did it on medium almond, short duck, and maybe stiletto, or I don't know. We did it on 3 different nails, but I'll let y'all watch me do these. And once I'm done with all of the French tips, I'll show you at the end when I'm done what color French goes on what finger. I did do alternating colors, so one hand had one set of colors and the other hand had a different like operation of colors. You'll see it once we get there.
Outside in an AMG, right outside, TT, 2-turn baby girl, you know me. Still with the dogs that I grew beside. All the niggas round me, I that they got it. Shorty off a Finsta, just do on a hoodie, it's a crenshaw. Way that I've been living unconventional.
All right, so here's what the French tip combination color look like. Combination color, really warm. All right, so let's go ahead and jump to the design. So for the ring finger, the design was pretty simple. All I'm going to do is go in with my airbrush and put my airbrush down. I do use polish mixed with acetone, which is not the best solution or the best method. There are airbrush inks that you can use that are better, and make sure that if you are airbrushing that you're using a mask, you're in a well ventilated area, windows open and everything, because you don't want this to harm you in any way, because it is harmful to your respiratory system. Anyway, so I went in, did my airbrush, and I cured that. Once I cure that, I am going to put base coat on top of it. Excuse me. I don't think I recorded that, but I'm going to put base coat and top coat that one because that design is done. For the index finger, we're going to do not necessarily a rhinestone French, but more of like a rhinestone outline. So I'm just going in with my glitter polish from Beetles and outlining the edges of the nail. Now, I will say that it's best to file the tip of the nail before you do this, because once you go in with the rhinestones, you're not really going to be able to file, like if you want like the sharp look for square, or any nail tip like duck square that have, the sharp edge, the sharp tip. For example, the almond nail that I'm working on now, you don't have to worry about filing, but I would suggest filing before you put down the rhinestones, either before you put down the rhinestones or before you put down the glitter French outline thing to file the nails. But yeah, so I just went in and did that. Oh, now we're base coating and top coating the aura nails. This nail design was pretty easy and pretty it was really pretty once I did everything. Putting the 3D lines was really like the top. It was like that kicker. So for my upcoming videos, I'm gonna try to make it to where I work on one design at a time. Or I did it for one video, but it's kind of hard when you're working to just record one nail, finish that whole design, and then move on to the next. Usually when you're doing nails, you're working on all three nails at once. But I'm going to try to just record it to where I'm working on the nails one by one, so that it's easier when I'm recording or when I'm editing the YouTube video. But anyway, for the pinky and the thumb, I'm just going to go in and do this leopard print design. I'm going to start off by making like a cow print almost with a dark brown or a light brown. And then you're going to go over that with black and make like these little lines around it. You can't really see it good in here, but that's what I did. And then once I finished that, sorry for the clicking noise. My pump is currently giving me medicine, my insulin pump. But once I finished that, I cured that, and then I'm going over it with base coat because we're going to add rhinestones to this one as well. And yeah. So moving back to that ring finger, we're going to go in with, I mixed this product myself. It is Macart rhinestone glue mixed with top coat, and I put it in one of my old jars because when you mix this up, it does tend to have air bubbles. So I pre-mixed a whole bunch and I let it sit and let the air bubbles dissolve and pop. And now I just use that for any 3D lines or any type of rhinestone placement as well, because it's rhinestone glue mixed with top coat. So I use that for my rhinestone glue as well. Sometimes I do use the regular rhinestone glue out the bottle, but most of the time I'm using this mixture. So for the thumbnail, we're going to add a flower, and then we're going to do a line of rhinestones on either side. For the pinky, we're going to do the same thing, but we're not going to add a flower. We're just going to add rhinestones at the cuticle area. So that's what I'm doing right now. Y'all tell me why, when I first started this design, I could not find my wax pencil, bro. I had to go and order a whole new set of wax pencils, because y'all know the little white ones that come with the rhinestones, they suck. Okay, let's be real, they are not good for rhinestone placements. Picking up rhinestones. I don't know if it's just me, I don't know if it's user error, but they suck. And I like using the wax pencils because they actually pick up the rhinestones how I need them to get picked up. Okay, so I did buy those, and I'll try to link the pack that I got down below, because I think I got a pack of, I don't even know, maybe 4 or 5 for $5. And they're long, so what I did was I broke them in half. So I have 6. I don't know, how many do I have? What's this? it's 4 pencils. So in total, I was able to make 8 pencils, if I'm doing my math right. But yeah, I will try to make sure to link that down below. So once I put the rhinestones down, we're going to cure that in top coat because that's it for the design. And I'll let y'all watch me do that, and we'll come back when we're doing the next step. All right, so moving back to the index finger, we're going to go ahead and do that rhinestone outline. So I'm going back in with that rhinestone glue mixed with top coat, and I'm just going to place it down where I'm putting the rhinestones. And I did do a bigger glob because we're going to add a flower. So I wanted to make sure that flower was nice and stuck in place. So let's talk about this real quick. Instead of doing a French tip, I decided to do the outline because, y'all, doing 100 and something nails and doing rhinestone French tips on however many nails we did it on, because it's on both hands, I didn't feel like doing all of that, y'all. So that's why I decided to do the outline instead of the French tip, because that was just too much. And then every time I do these dang on bulk nails, y'all, whenever I do like a design on a bunch of different shapes and lengths, I always pick some intricate design. Why can't I just pick something simple? These nails took me a couple days to finish, I'm not gonna lie. And then on top of that, I was sick, which didn't help. But yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, it's best to file the tips of the nails because you're going to struggle like I did here. And when I say struggle, I mean like trying to leave space at the top for you to go in and file, but also make sure that the rhinestones at the top are straight and even. And that's why I say to file before, because once you file before, you don't have to worry about going in, fixing it up at the top, and like making sure that it's even and that you still have enough room to file and make the nails sharp. When you file before, you don't have to worry about any of that. So that's why I say to do that, because I ended up cutting a lot of this out, y'all. It was probably like 2 minutes worth of footage that I cut out of me just working on this nail. But once I get it in place, I'm going to flash cure it because I don't want it to start slipping and sliding. I'm going to put it in the big lamp, and then we're going to base coat and top coat. I did end up adding a little rhinestone in the big flower. We added 2 flowers. I did a big one and a small one on either side. Then we're going to put that in a lamp. And the next nail that we're going to work on, which I believe is the last one, is the middle fingernail, which has a 3D flower. And for some odd reason, I keep doing 3D flowers and rhinestone French tips every time I do a bulk nail design. I don't know what is in the air when I'm designing these sets and what I be thinking, because, child, anyway. So I'm just going in with some solid gel glue from a cart, and I'm going to separate 5 little balls. And yeah, I'm just going to separate the little 5 little balls and try to get them as evenly sized as possible. And then we're going to place them on the nail once we get there. This stuff does stick to your gloves, especially if you have like product on your gloves, it will stick. So y'all can watch me struggle. And yeah. All right, y'all. So before I put down any of the balls that we just rolled, I'm gonna go in. Girl, where did this country accent just come from? Anyway, I'm gonna go in and play. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk, and I'm not re-recording this. I'm gonna go in and lay down a layer of base coat. Because if you ever worked with any type of 3D gel, a lot of times if it's on a matte surface, it won't stick. So didn't want to stick. It was sticking to my glove. But I like to lay down a layer of base coat because it sticks better when I do that. So now for sculpting this 3D flower. And it's pretty kind of self-explanatory. We're going to do 3 petals. 3 petals. What the fuck? We're going to do 5 petals. Okay. And so for all of these petals, I would also suggest filing the tip of this nail as well, so that you can know how much space you have. So I went in and removed some of it because it was a little bit too long. But the way that you're going to sculpt these is you want to lay down your circle and you want to flatten the circle out. And you want to make both ends, the top and the bottom, you want them to be pointed. So what I did was I flattened the middle, and I don't know how to explain it. I should have probably did like a actual part where I was showing y'all how I did it instead of like speeding it up. But anyway, that's basically what I just did. I just flattened it out, used the tip of my silicone tool, and just made these sides fat and the tips skinny. That's the best way I can explain it. But y'all can see me working here, and I just go in and sharpen it up because I did want a very, very pointed flower petal tip. So, and also sorry that I'm out of frame. When I'm sculpting, I do kind of need to be close to the nail so I can like see because it is clear. But I did try to get back in frame for y'all. Look, y'all, it's hard, okay? But I'm gonna do 5 petals and just, you know, play around with it and see you like your thing, your design. 5 petals is kind of hard, especially when you're doing like this one. I don't know, it was a little hard for me. Doing 4 would probably be easy, but I make my life difficult. That's what I do. So yeah, I'm just going in and sculpting these. And y'all, I'm gonna end up flash curing. I flash cured the first one, and then I laid down the next two, and then I'm gonna flash cure those and lay down 2, so that I'm not flash curing in between each one. I'm just gonna flash cure 3 times instead of 5. So yeah, that's what you'll see me do here. Flash cure one side for about 20 seconds, and then I'm gonna go in and lay those other 2 petals down. So even though I am flash curing, we are going to still put it in the lamp for a full 60 to 120 seconds to fully cure the product. So let's go ahead and start getting into the painting. So for this finger, I did do, like I said, I did do alternating colors. But for the teal French, I went in with a purple flower. The pink French, I went in with a pink flower. No, purple French, I went in with a pink flower. Anyway, I'm just going to go in with my purple, and I'm going to just put it on that flower, y'all. If you end up like me and you miss a few spots and you end up on the nail, just go in with a cleanup brush and some acetone, and it'll come right off. So that's what you see me doing here. If you messed up, baby, just wipe it off. Don't cure it. Don't cure it. That be the problem. Y'all gonna cure it knowing you messed up. Go ahead, fix it. Do it over. It's okay. Dust yourself off and try again. But I'm just gonna go in and do 2 layers of this purple, and then I mixed that same purple with white because I want to go in. I didn't mix it with too much white because I still wanted to look purple, but I went in and did another layer, and I'm gonna feather this one. You want to still see that first layer of purple, but you want to feather it out, and then you're gonna cure that. And then I'm going to go in now with white, pure white, and do the same thing. Just gonna feather it. You see me wiping the product off my brush because you want to be able to feather it. You don't want to go in with too much product or it'll just be a glob. You want it to look like strokes and not globs. So I'm going to go in with the white, and then once I go in with the white, I'm going to go over top of that with pink because I wanted to incorporate all 3 of the colors on this nail. So that's why we did the white and then the pink. You could go in with pink and then the white, but I kind of did the white first because I wanted the pink to pop. I didn't want the pink to be under the white. But yeah, I'm just going in and feathering it. I did add a little too much here, but that's okay. I was able to make it work. So I'm just going to feather that out, and then we're going to flash cure it and put it under the big lamp. And then once we cure it all the way, we're going to apply our base coat. And then once we do our base coat, we're going to apply our top coat. Now, oh, see, y'all want to know what's crazy? You see, I just forgot that we were supposed to do black dots. I forgot that we were supposed to do black dots on quite a few of these flowers, y'all. I didn't went in, base coated, top coated, everything, and forgot that I had to go back in and do black dots. So, don't be like Lauren. Don't forget your black dots, all right? But once we do the black dots, we're going to go in and base coat and top coat. Now, I don't know if this was the top coat or the base coat. I think it was a top coat. For the top coat, I did add a rhinestone in the middle of this nail. So I went in with that rhinestone glue mixed with top coat, and I put it on the middle. This is the top coat. Okay. Once I finished the top coat layer, I went in and did that. You'll see me do it in this next clip so I can then add the rhinestone in the middle, and I did flash cure the rhinestone because I didn't want it moving in the lamp. And then we put the nail under the big lamp to fully cure. Then we're going to pick up that rhinestone, place that down, flash cure, and put it under the big lamp. Make sure it's straight. And yeah, so now we're going to go in and file the nails. Because this video is so long, I'm not going to package the nails with y'all. Typically, I would go in and package the nails, but we're already at a 40-minute video, okay? So I'm just going to show y'all me filing the nails. So I file the tips of the nails with a 80 or a 60 grit file. I get the same results with both. Either one works. People ask me, oh, what file do you use? What file do you use? How do you make it so sharp? I don't know. I could use a 100 grit file and it'll still be sharp. I could use a 180 grit file. It'll take me a minute, but it'll still be sharp. So yeah, I'm just going in, shaping up the tips of the nails with my file. And then once I do that, I'm going to get my e-file and we're going to etch the insides of the nails. And here's those nails. Ooh, so pretty, so pretty. So now we're just gonna pop the nails off the stands and hope that Lauren doesn't break a nail stand, because that has happened plenty of times before. So now I'm gonna go on my e-file and I'm gonna use a 60 grit, I believe it's a 60 grit sanding band, and we're gonna etch the insides of the nails. And we're also going to kind of, I'm gonna say, break in the nail. When you add a design and the builder gel on top of like all of these designs, the nails do become stiff. So this is when I go in and I take the e-file and I go in. How many times you gonna say go in? Anyway, I'm going to take my e-file and kind of like loosen up the nail some, which is what you kind of see me do here on the sides specifically. And also we're etching the insides of the nails to give the inside of the nails. How many times you going to say inside of the nails? Okay. We're going to give those insides to the nails some grip. Anyway, gonna give them some texture so that the glue has something to seep down into and grip onto. I do this for all of my sets, and also if there's any polish that ended up curing under the nail, I go in with my e-file and kind of remove that as well, which is what I'm doing here. And then once we do that, I'm gonna go in with my 180 grit side of my file, and we're gonna smooth out the nails. If there's any polish that did seep onto the underside of the nail, sometimes that can become pokey and it can be uncomfortable if you don't remove this for your clients. So I'm just going to do that, and then we're going to dust them and wipe them off with alcohol and package them up. And then here's what the finished nails look like. They kind of look so pretty. They are available on my website for purchase. HavenTheBrand.com. Just type in Gabriella or Gabrielle. Girl, it's one of those. I'll make sure to also link it in my description box if you're interested in purchasing. So I appreciate y'all for watching my video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.